So this is my tree. It's a eucalyptus. I'm waiting for the leaves to fall off so that it can sprout a little bit more. The stem itself seems quite good. I think the stem is growing. It's just that the leaves look brown because when it was transplanted, they turned brown and discolored. I've been watering it and I think it's getting taller, but it's just a matter of time before it, turns some new leaves to replace these brown ones. But this is one of the few plants that looks like it's doing really well. It's nice and bright green. I can't wait to see what flower it has. Essentially, I thought it was a weed, but it could totally be a flower. I don't know what was in these pots, but they seem to be covered with weeds. And so I put them in the ground and watching the green grow. A lot of them had like weeds that have dried up, but the things that are growing are generally regarded as just more weeds. I think in quite a few of the pots there were like fruit seeds, like that one over there. Not that one. That one had fruit seeds in it. So I put like an apricot seed and some, what were they? I think they were like peach seeds or something. Something that I found. Oh, nectarine seeds it was. Yeah, something that I found was quite sweet. And I thought that these things with the red and the green leaves was perhaps a juvenile form of a fruit tree, but they seem to be weeds, and so I don't think the actual fruit seed has actually seeded, ripened. So, so I just put them all in the ground and be like, well, if they're weeds, I'll just grow more weeds, and they're native weeds, so they're weeds that have probably airborne themselves into the pots and grown. So it should be okay. And if they do grow a tree, it's a little in front of the fence, like a meter in front of the fence, so it should be okay. And things like fruit trees take forever to grow, like 15 years for an apricot tree to turn into an adult or a juvenile, like a tall juvenile tree, like something like this eucalyptus there. And so they're kind of slow growing anyways, and they get skinny before they get big, wide, and fat. So, and by the time this property will be sold and all the new trees and growth will be cleared off and returned back to grass. That's how they do it here. With this water pond, I think it's like slowly sinking. Quite a few birds actually drink from it, and I think when the water comes out, I might try repotting the water lilies, because I was looking at a video the other day and it said to pot them with like a mixture of soils, like normal soil, it's manure or sand, and put the sand and some stones on top of the other soils, and put that in a pot and then put it in water. So, and that's how you plant water lilies apparently. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you just need normal soil for it, and not specialty mud or anything. So I might like take the mud out because I feel bad that the birds are drinking water with clay and like muddy clayish mud sitting on the bottom. I mean, before it had silty mud, but that was more natural. This one was like an Asian clay-based mud, and they're still drinking from it and diving in it, and I feel a little bit bad for the birds, so I might just clear it all out and start this pond again. But and I'll see if I can repot the water lily plants in normal soil and mixed soil with manure and normal soil and stuff. But I'll see if they rise to the surface and see if they actually grow. I mean, I just popped them in there. They seemed weak, but they were still growing. I mean, they had new growth, but their roots were turning black. And I'm like, well, that might be a nutrient deficiency. And before, when I had it in this water from this pond, the roots were white, and so I was like, the roots looked healthier. So since they seemed shriveled and black, and then the new rooting was turning shriveled and black, and I was like, well, I don't think the bucket is really doing them any good. So I just shoved them in the pond without really knowing what I'm doing, and I shoved the mud that they were settling on into the pond, thinking, well, mud with the vitamins that are in the water will sure to be pick them up, but we'll see. We'll see if they grow and start floating on top of the water. I don't know if they will. I don't know what they're doing at the bottom of this pond. It's only like 10-15 centimeters down, so. But I'm gonna wait and see if they rise to the surface. There's a nice big lily. They might. I've done that previously, like quite a few times, and they have taken a couple of months before they start showing, but they grow quite large in that time, so when they float to the surface they're quite a big lily and quite developed. So it usually does save them by plonking them in just a pond. They usually get strong and grow really well, but we'll see. These guys I sprayed yesterday because they're scratching in spots on their feathers, and it looks like they're itchy to me. So our last chicken died of either an infestation of mites or sickness. I mean, it seemed to be both. They could have had a tick on them that we hadn't discovered. We hadn't really taken a good look, but they apparently had white mites on their buttocks where their feces had collected. They were kind of sick for a while, and then they died, and it was like, oh, we don't know what they really died of, but they had mites and they were sick, and this person gave them an Epsom salt bath and kept them in the cage all day, and then they died. So, and gave them some sort of medicine for intestinal worms when they went to bed, and then they died during the night. So it was like, I think it's a mixture of things. I mean, it was kind of cold and wintry. They weren't in the back part of the pen, and they got possibly a cold from being cold, but they also had mites, so I don't know. It's a guess. To me, they looked like they were turning pale because they possibly had a cold, and they had a lukewarm bath, and then they were sitting in the shade all day, in the shade of a pen. So rather than out in the sun, and every other day they were out in the sun. But they weren't walking. It was just a big drama and very sad. I said, call the vet, and they're like, no, I'm not going to call the vet. Besides, there's no vet nearby, so you have to pay for a traveling vet, which costs more. And so, yeah, they briefly consulted the vet, and it's like probably too strong a medication. They had given them amino acids or whatever, some sort of vitamin that was fit for humans during the day. I gave them a vitamin drink, which I didn't touch because I was sick by that time, and I said leave them out in the sun, and they were kept in the pen, and then they gave them a full dose of this intestinal medicine, which is probably too strong for them. It should have been given to them during the day so that they can be monitored. But anyway, they were freezing. Their beak was growing pale by the time it was night. It was just like disaster. It's like, no wonder they died. I just think there's too little education that they take for granted that animals need to just look after themselves to be okay. I was like, no, not really. So this is my rose. They're getting nice and big, nice and quickly. So within a couple more weeks, they'll probably be growing up. The leaves are getting big These are my sun-based hippeastrums. I don't know if they're supposed to be in the sun, but they weren't doing very well on the ground, and so I put them in the sun and end up high, and they get a good dose of sun during the day. This one probably needs more sun. So they were down there, but their leaves were turning yellow. I keep seeing this as a dwarf bush, so that shouldn't grow more than 60 centimeters. A lot of these aren't growing yet. Got a lot of weeds growing in there. I don't know if that's grass. It looks like grass. Could be a flower, could be a plant. I often put these things in plants that I've planted seeds but they haven't grown anything. And since they all look very similar, or these things that I assume are grass, I'm like, better leave them to grow just in case they're like a flower, but they look like grass. And these are my two Pala palms. They're growing very well. Nice and strong. This one's getting nice and big. These are the flowers. A lot of these are chrysanthemums. So when they get bigger, they'll need to be planted into a nice garden bed, but there's a lot of other flowers mixed in with that, including two lots of forget-me-nots, the pink and the blue ones, and a lot of other ones. So, and this pot has other flowers, so it's another bunch of flowers. I put a mixture of flowers so that if some seeds don't grow right away, I put them with seeds that will definitely grow right away, and then the other seeds can grow whenever they want. You know, you won't lose the seeds in the pot and be like, oh, this isn't growing, may as well just chuck the soil out. So I put them with flowers that will definitely grow, so that when you plant it into the garden, it's like a mixed slow growing seeds and definitely grow seeds, and it'll probably even out. Same with this pot. Like I wasn't sure like how much success I would have with the seeds, because we planted a big bunch of seeds last year, or 6 months ago, and into the garden, and none of them really grew. Like a couple of them grew, but not many grew. And I planted chrysanthemums previously, and I'm like, they didn't grow where I put them. And so I was testing all the seeds, basically all the seeds that I have, just to see if they grow. And they started growing right away, so it's good to start them off in a pot. I was surprised that so many of them grew right away, but the chrysanthemums just took off right away, and now they're this big. So with this pot, I have no idea what this is. I'm kind of expecting that to perhaps grow into a passion fruit, but I don't know if passion fruits look like that when they're young. It is where I put the Panama, whatever you call it, passion fruits that are really juicy and taste delicious. Reliable, lovely passion fruit, but I'm not actually sure if that's even a passion fruit. It could be anything. So I'm waiting for it to grow, and there's a little plant near its base that's in there as well that looks like it wants to grow, but it might disappear. These I bought for like $3.50 off eBay. Like only a few dollars off eBay, and the cuttings are so strong. Growing some very nice rosemary plants, nice and big, nice and healthy, nice and green. And they're bushing up real quickly, so they'll be transplanted and definitely be of use. Definitely a wonderful gift, rosemary. You can do so many things with it, including make healthy body sprays for the chickens, maybe. That's a, what do you call it? Starts with C. Anyway, that's a flower that's waiting to grow its first flower. This should be a fruit tree. It's like a some sort of berry. It's like a kind of like guava, but not guava. It's like, it's kind of like, it's a, I forget, but anyway, it's a fruit tree. And this is my brand new growth. I don't know what it is yet. I'm waiting for it to get bigger to decide what it is. It has a similar look to a fruit tree, but I'll see. Just wait for it to grow.